Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us here today. Before we jump into the new tools, I want to let you know a little bit about Fact Tracker Alliance in case you haven't worked with us in the past. So Fact Tracker is a nonprofit that provides maps, data, and analysis to help understand and address the impacts of oil, gas, and related industries in the United States, including the petrochemical industries. So yeah, thank you for joining us here today. We're excited to present to you two new tools that are designed to be an easy place to go to understand the scope of the oil and gas and petrochemical industries. My name is Matt Kelso, and I am the manager of data and technology at Fact Tracker. I am joined today by Cullen Smith, our data integration specialist who built these tools, and we'll be giving you a live demonstration here today. So we would like to also thank Halt the Harm for producing this webinar for us, as well as our trusted partners who have given us feedback to make these tools more useful for everyone. And we would also like to thank all of you for coming and spending an hour of your time with us here today. We believe that the efficiencies these tools provide will return that valuable time to you with interest as you make use of them in the future. So, as many of you know, industry data can be difficult to access, whether it's hidden behind expensive subscription services or scattered across dozens of inconsistent sources. Advocates frequently have to spend huge amounts of time and resources just to establish the basic information about a facility and who's being impacted. That's why we're so excited to share something new today. Fact Tracker is launching two new national data portals. The first one that we will talk about today is the Petrochemical Data Portal, a place to go for up-to-date data about petrochemical facilities and related infrastructure. Not only does it give the basics about individual facilities, but it gives a sense of the reach of the whole industry, including who's being impacted by it. As you might guess, the oil and gas wells data portal is focused on the upstream or extraction part of the equation. We've taken these well data from all of the producing states, put it into one place, and made it less arcane and therefore easier to use. So together, these tools put millions of data points into your hands, free, transparent, downloadable, and ready to support advocacy, research, and action. If you've been searching for a reliable, attributable source of truth for environmental data, we believe that this will become your go-to resource. So let's go ahead and dive into our first portal, the Petrochemical Data Portal. You can check out the Petrochemical Data Portal right now by going to our data page. You can either scan the QR code with your phone or type in the link below, which is facttracker.org/data, and then scroll down to the portal, which is highlighted here in red. From there, just click and you're in. As you're doing that, I want to talk to you for a minute about the scope of the data that you will find on the portal. The petrochemical industry in the United States isn't just refineries and plastic plants. It's an interconnected web of infrastructure that stretches across the country. Natural gas and oil feedstocks move through pipelines and compressor stations along the way. Processing plants, fractionators, and storage facilities convert these raw materials into building blocks for chemicals. From there, ammonia plants, ethylene crackers, export terminals, and other countless facilities turn these building blocks into fertilizers, plastics, and fuels. Each of these pieces may look different on a map, but together they form one single system. That system that shapes our energy use, our climate emissions, and the health of frontline communities. That's why our portals bring all of the infrastructure types into one place to give you a complete picture of how the petrochemical industry operates across the United States and to make visible the scale and scope of this larger footprint. When I started with Fact Tracker in 2010, back when it was a project at the University of Pittsburgh, reliable data about the industry was often unavailable, and the data that did exist was frequently of poor quality. Years later, government agencies still struggle to provide this information to the public, and lately, some sources are being removed entirely. The Petrochemical Portal provides up-to-date information on energy infrastructure across the US, compiled from verified data sources. It allows easy visualization of data layers using the built-in interactive map. It lets users filter data and download custom data sets for your own analysis, and includes custom features such as population analysis and digitized pipeline routes. So first I want to talk about access to up-to-date information. So finding relevant data is one challenge, and keeping that data up to date is another one altogether. But of course, the more up to date the information is, the more accurate and therefore the more valuable it becomes. So new facilities are constantly being built while older ones retire or change hands. Colin built this tool to search for new data on a quarterly basis and update automatically. Note that not all of these data sets that we're drawing from update that frequently, but we always look just in case they do. And we will capture those changes where they happen. So what kind of facilities are operating near you? You can go to the map and find out. You can turn on the facility layers that you are interested in and hide the ones that you aren't looking for. Pan around, zoom in and out, and click for more information about a specific operation. Let's say you're looking for something specific like natural gas processing plants in Texas or by a specific operator. You could filter for the data that fits your scope and download it in order to conduct your own analysis later. One of the big features of this portal is population analysis using census blocks. Right now, we have calculations within 1 kilometer of every site. And we do this using a prorated portions of census blocks. So, and we include the demographic data that's available from the 2020 decennial census. So I want to explain why we think that this is the most accurate possible model. Census blocks are the finest resolution available when it comes to where people live, and importantly, where they don't live. Using blocks is a lot more challenging in several ways in terms of file size and structure. And the 5-year estimates that are available from the American Community Survey are excluded from this level of detail. So why do we use it? Census blocks are simply much more accurate. This chart compares blocks with block groups and tracts from the 2020 census. There are almost 34 times as many census blocks as there are block groups, which is what the late great EJ Screen tool used. And the land area of the average block is about 2.5% of an average block group. So you'll notice that the number of blocks with zero population is much higher as well. This makes sense because there are not people evenly distributed throughout the entire geography of the block groups. So by using this smaller geography, we get a better sense of where the people are actually located. This can be tremendously helpful in estimating impacts if an event were to occur at one of these facilities. But we take it a step further as well and use prorated portions of these census blocks. That means that if there are 10 people in a given block, but only 30% of that block is within the area of interest, our model only counts 3 people within the radius instead of 10 for that block. Then we aggregate all of the blocks and block fragments within the area of interest. In this picture, you'll see that there's numerous overlapping circles. So we make sure that each fragment counts for each of the facilities that they're within, because someone might live within a kilometer of each of these facilities. So right now we have calculations for 1 kilometer, but soon, I believe later today, we're expecting we will have 2 kilometer and 5 kilometer distances as well to account for broader impacts. Also important is cleaning up the field names. So data sets often use informationally dense but hard to read field names. A lot of times you'll see a bunch of capital letters with underscores and numbers jammed together. we decode all of these for our portal users to make it easier to use. We also curate the fields that display in the data table to keep it as concise as possible without losing important information. And we also have the original sources so that if anybody wants the original data, they can access that as well. Um, we're including, I think, this is in the process of happening right now, but we're including pipeline routes. There are a couple of pipeline routes that are published by the federal government that are of poor quality, and those are already on the portal just for reference. We also have a pipeline layer that we have spent a lot of time digitizing since around 2017 from other government sources like FERC documents, for example, when companies apply for new pipelines or pipeline expansion projects, they have to get these approval from FERC and they have to submit maps, and so those are public record, and we digitize those when we can. So those should be around later today if they're not there already. And also images of sites and facilities. FracTracker has a inventory of thousands of geolocated photos of petrochemical facilities and related infrastructure. And so we're going to import that as a layer that's going to be available here as well, so that people will be able to see what some of these facilities look like and not just look at dots on maps. And also mobile app reports. So another one of our projects is the FracTracker mobile app. You can go to this site, fractracker.org/apps, and we have iOS version, we have an Android version, and we also have a web app version if you don't want to download another app. And this is a place where people can go and share their experiences that they see in the field, whether they're impacts or just documenting infrastructure. We're going to make these reports available for these portals as well. So now I'm going to turn it over to Cullen to give everyone a live demonstration of the petrochemical portals.